What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry. And you are?
Leave her be.
She asked me a question, Captain, so she deserves an answer. Look at my face, child! It has furnished for me a lonely life in which none would have me as a man.
They couldn't even last a whole month without contradicting themselves. The recently published second issue of Masters of the Universe Revelations prequel tells Skeletor's origin, and it contradicts what Kevin Smith said in his Netflix series, where we were told Skeletor apparently is a very bad guy because he can have no woman as his appearance makes him hideous to any girl, just as we saw in the initial clip in this video. So, what sort of idiot wrote this thing, huh? Oh, never mind. Yeah, the story begins with Skeletor ranting and raving because he lost contact with the Arglax creature and he feels it's connected to Castle Grayskull and the origin of the Power Sword, which can give him the ability to become a Master of the Universe in his own opinion. Right after sending his minions away, Skeletor confides in Evelyn his true origins. It turns out Skeletor comes from another world in which there are more like him, meaning there is a whole planet of ugly-looking individuals who have skulls for a face, no skin, and of course those hideous eye holes that look at you and they scare you the hell out of it. And maybe because of that it is that they were all enslaved, but it was Skeletor's duty to free his people, and he was hailed as a great hero. He also found love, mind you. The bad guy was in love and even had a child, but things weren't meant to last for our bad hero. Oh no, sir, of course not. And we have his former slavers slay his wife and daughter. But because we are talking about a nice guy, he doesn't go on a revenge killing spree. Oh no, sir, of course not. Instead, we have him wander around until the Horde's ship arrives, and Hordak provides him with the opportunity to take revenge by telling him he could teach him to cheat death through magic, because magic is the only answer in life. Have you got a problem with your boss? Use magic to erase his memory, or to become yourself the boss, of course. Failed a test? Magic can change the notes. Got a dead loved one and you want them back? Magic!
Magic.
This doesn't come without a price, of course not, sir. And in the case of Skeletor, he becomes something of Hordak's enforcer. He is his servant. He is basically his slave. He's Anakin Skywalker in this universe. And because of that, he doesn't want to be a slave anymore. He doesn't want to be trapped, so he rebels and leaves for Eternia to find a way to bring his wife back to life, since Hordak gave him the power to resuscitate only one of his loved ones. He chose his daughter, but he had to quickly give her up to the Horde so that they could bring her up and also possibly train her. And that's Skeletor's story. But Evelyn doesn't believe it. Oh no, sir, of course not. So she says to Skeletor that she doesn't believe that the story is true, even though it was cool. In that moment, Skeletor seems to accept and admit to Evelyn that he made the story up. However, that doesn't seem to be all that true later on. So at this point, it gets a little tricky, because those Kevin Smith fans will say that the story is ambiguous and that Skeletor was lying. But if you pay attention close in to the end of the comic book, he produces this necklace that his wife had. And at least for me, that is confirmation that the story is somewhat true. Now, maybe the fans from long ago who still remember the original mini-comics will say, this looks like a nice nod to that story in which Skeletor was something of a demon who came from another dimension, and we actually get to see the panel where he's explaining the need to join the two halves of the Power Sword to open up a portal to his dimension and bring other demons into Eternia to conquer it. But never are we allowed to see these other individuals' faces, so we can't even confirm if they evil look alike. Though some might say they do because they have all the same outfit and also the same skin color. In any case, while it might be a nice nod, it is played in such an awful way that it doesn't sound organic at all. It is forced into the story. No longer are villains just evil for the sake of it. Apparently, in this universe, everyone was good at first, but turned evil later on. What's next then? Beastman's story, in which he was a nice puppy that got mutated into a human form, and since then, he was treated so badly that he became evil? It sounds pathetic, and it is quite pathetic. This is a lame attempt at humanizing a villain, and it is just unfit in the case of Skeletor. It deprives him of that very important characteristic that fans always gravitated towards in the franchise. You inherently and immediately knew who the good guys were and who the bad guys were. There's nothing wrong with just having an evil character who wants to conquer the world simply because he's evil. I think having these representations makes learning about being good or bad easy for children and help make good stories that can stand the test of time as well. But if nothing of what I just said is enough, at least have the decency to respect the lore. You know, the same bloody lore you created for this crap of a show. That lore in which you have now completely ignored everything. And yet, there are those who are defending this crap as a well-written show that gives more depth to the characters. No. Next issue, if you were expecting they'd advance the story forwards and learn what happened to the Orlax or King Randor from the previous issue, you are in for a treat and a rude awakening, because now we will learn evil in story. I mean, seriously, if you only have a small, simple plot and you think it'll last only for 2 issues, then write the goddamn 2 issues and that's it, be done with it. No need to fill in with the boring contradictory stories of the characters' origins to complete the 4 issues or whatever many issues you want to produce of this thing. This is just a waste of time. Even more so because we don't even have interesting origins, and as stated, they contradict what we saw on screen. It's absurd. Worth mentioning is the art. It's hideous. I said in the first issue, this was okay. I mean, I just accepted it. It was nice. It was not the best, but I moved on from that. But as I kept on reading the second issue, I just couldn't stand it. It becomes worse and worse. It's truly horrible. The cover art, though, is good, but not worth picking this up for the $4 bloody that it costs only for the cover. Not worth the effort, and even for those who love the show, it contradicts it. So, I don't know. I wouldn't just get on with it and wouldn't even try to buy it. Mediocre attempts abound. Marvel's right with them. Maybe next time, try to give us, the fans, something that we can really feel excited for. And way ahead of the series release, please. Not just when the series has already ended its premiere. I'm just saying. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and if you want to read this issue, or if you have and want to talk about it. Also, let all that be known down below in the comment section. And until next time, peace out.